Hello, my name is Mohammed Al Arif. I work for the World Bank East Asia Pacific region. This week, we're opening up the spring meetings with social media and your questions. You can actually join us through Facebook, Twitter, or live.worldbank.org. We're very fortunate today to have Secretary Dinky Sulaiman, who oversees welfare and social development in the Republic of the Philippines. Prior to joining the government, she was a civil society activist for about 30 years. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Arif.
Thank you. We actually have very great questions from all over the world. And one of them is from Spain, who have asked, which are the major challenges in terms of social development in the Philippines that you think you will face in the next 5 years?
Well, first of all, we do still have 26% of our population of 90 million below poverty line. And the National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction, which did the survey, have identified 5.2 million families who are poor. So that is one major challenge, how to move 5.2 million families from survival subsistence living into self-reliant situations of their families and their communities. Secondly, we still have to develop stronger mechanisms for transparency and accountability to lessen leakages so that monies of government can actually redound to the benefit of the majority, especially the poor. So this is the Aquino administration's mantra. Fight corruption so we can reduce poverty by putting money where it's really used for the benefit of the poor.
Yes, and also another question from Bangladesh. Many people believe that bottom-up development is slow and inefficient and leads to wastage and resources. Now, you're a proponent of community-driven development. What sort of argument do you have to say otherwise?
Well, first of all, when you say bottom-up process is slow, I think we have to ask worldwide, especially in developing countries, how the trickle-down has not really worked either. And that in our experience, community-driven development, where citizens themselves participate in identifying what the key problem is and what are the key solutions, and more importantly, constructively engaging government, both at the local and the national level, into a productive solution, has proven for us to be very workable. For the last 7 years, in about 200 municipalities, incomes have been raised because of projects that communities and local government had worked on, such as roads, daycare centers, community infrastructures that will help economic growth in the area.
Here's a question from back home, from the Philippines. Poverty and crime are often interlinked. And what is the government doing to address the challenges of crime and poverty, especially when it's driving certain group of individuals to desperation and destitution?
Well, first of all, I think we need to look at it in 3 levels. Crime right now can be seen done by very young people, so that's one level. And what we're doing to address that is the conditional cash transfer to take them away from the streets and to take them away from the clutches of syndicates and keep them in school. So we have a conditional cash transfer that's for 0 to 14 years old. We also have a Juvenile Justice Welfare Act where rehabilitation, positive disciplining instead of putting them to jail where they will be more hardened by criminals. The other is, of course, job generation and ensuring that the out-of-school youth are provided skills through our vocational courses done by government so that they will not be part of the syndicates, I think. And finally, really making sure that the poverty reduction interventions of job generation and social protection are felt by everyone, especially the very vulnerable communities.
It's fascinating. A question from Cambodia. Do you see remittances as a major contributor to economic development in the Philippines?
Well, because we do have a diaspora of Filipino migrant workers, we have more than 10 million of them in different parts of the world. The remittances is part of our economic backbone. And right now what we are doing is working with development partners, including the World Bank, in trying to use these funds into more development-oriented investments and help the migrant workers invest this in a more medium and long-term businesses, investments in terms of property, because the observation has been most of the monies that had come in had really been used for consumption.
Okay.
So we want to make that monies available for manufacturing, for agriculture, and that's being done by government and private sector.
Well, thank you very much. Very fascinating issues. Oh, thank you for watching World Bank Live.